snapped my wrist like a twig, like it would just, like my hand would just like that, and I remember just getting up and like, I knew my dad would be fuming, so I was like, just try and pick bike up straight away and ride off.
Stop! Forensic tagging!
Right, this is Westleigh Yard Dog Podcast Part 2. First time we did, battery died on my phone, so we're going to just go through a few things, and it's going to be me asking Jason a few questions, aka known as Old Graham. So I'm going to start and say, well, what's your first memories of a motorbike, and how old was you? So I was about six. Remember wanting a motorbike, mainly because my dad had one, and I'd see him going out on ease. And then I think it was for Christmas one year, I got a PW80. So that was it, and I was hooked on that. Just riding, just locally on fields, just nothing, no type of racing or anything like that on it. Just play riding. A few of us had them, and then I was about 10, and I remember just really reading throughout magazines, and I just really wanted either a KX80 or a CR80. Just loved how they looked, and I think it was the sound, and they just sounded great. And yeah, just then. That's when you got one for Christmas, isn't it? If I can find the video, I'll crop it on. My dad's got it for him for Christmas. Yeah. And he had it at my grandma's, and obviously Jason was hoping he'd get one, and he come down and obviously opened all his presents, but at our house, and there were nothing there. So he was obviously probably gutted inside, but he didn't say anything. And then anyway, like at dinner time, my dad took him up to my grandma's and said, well, I'll go and have a look what's in conservatory there. But it was great, that, wasn't it? Yeah, that was right, yeah. And it was there, and it just was, like you said, I was just buzzing with it. And that was it. I think I had that for about 3 years then, that bike. And then when the first time, obviously, if you don't know, Jason did quite a bit of motocross when he was a bit younger. Obviously, he started. When was it when you started racing? I think I got that bike, and then I was like 10, nearly 11 when I got that, and then I probably rode it for a year or so, and then I did a race. What made you want to race? I can't remember. I don't know why, but there's a local track near here called Westleigh Raceway. And the AC used to like club meetings there, and I think I went and did one of them. But I wasn't majorly into it. I just kind of, I didn't do well or anything. I just kind of rode round. But my mate was racing in the AMCA, David Clarkson and his brother, and they would kept, asking us to go and race there. Team Coconut. So I think it was probably a year after that, I didn't bother again for maybe a year, and then we went with them on a meeting, and I obviously come on a bit in that year then, and it was the into junior class then, which was like a mix of anything from a small wheel 80 to a 125, and you could be anything from 10 to 15 in that class. But I'd come on a bit, and I did well straight away, and I was leading the first race, and I think that just got me hooked then. I got a big buzz off it. Yeah, I fell off like I was. I used to love a fall. I just love falling every race. But yeah, I was leading, but because I'd never raced before, nobody knew who I was. Everyone was, like, oh bloody hell, you were doing well and all this. So I think it got me I got a bit of an adrenaline rush off it, and then once you get that, I think you just hooked then. So that was it for the next, what was that, 4-5 years then, just racing the race. You ended up obviously coming like Northwest champion at 85, didn't you? That into juniors, which was in the AMCA, and then obviously as you get a bit better, people are starting to say, oh, you want to try, go into ACU, and I started doing a few of them meetings, which the lads are obviously the top lads in country then, and then you battle with. Well, eventually you got up to the first race he ever did was in the ACU, wasn't it? Astley Raceway, and the leaders of the races, was it Nathan?
It was just it wasn't. It was Danny Banbury was there, Kevin Wells, and a few others.
They all lapped you, didn't they, on the first race you ever did?
Oh, right. Sorry. Yeah. You mean going back a couple of years, right? Yeah, that one. Yeah, I think it was Nathan Parker, and I think he lapped me like twice on that first ever race I did at Astley. But then obviously by the time I'd went back to the SEO, I was like, it was still a bit better, but I could give him a bit of a race then. So it was, I'd come on quite a bit. And then but going into that, we didn't really know anybody. Going into the SEU, we had all a group of friends at the AMCA, but you knew you couldn't really progress there too much because I was like doing well, but there was no one really else on an 85 who was around my level. So I had to go over then to the SEU, and then we just didn't really know anybody, and I think.
Didn't enjoy it.
Yeah, I didn't enjoy it as much.
And it was more serious. It seemed more serious. It took a bit more. Obviously, my dad used to get the bikes ready, prep them, and then they'd be travelling all over, and it started taking. My dad's, you know what he's like with his screaming and the stress head, and it obviously started taking a bit more of a toll on him, didn't it?
I just used. If I wasn't winning, I'd just be throwing a tantrum. I just hated it. I absolutely hated it. If I went somewhere and didn't win, or I'd just be in a mood. So. Eventually, I think it just run its course, and
got to be you and women, didn't you?
No, I think it was even before. I think I was on, like you said, I was 15, and I just said to my dad, I just was at a meeting, I just said, I've had enough of this, so we just drove home, and that's it. He just sold bike, and that was it.
And then he sold bike, and he said, and then about a few months later, he said,
6 months later, I said, I've seen him talking to a few people on racing, and then I said, I fancy it again, so he got me another bike, and then I went back, and again I only did 4 races, and then I just jacked in then. So I just wasn't.
Then that was it. Then from 15 to you didn't have a bike for at least.
I think from 15 to about 20 I didn't have a bike. 16 maybe till 20 I didn't have a bike, so I was just going out and all that. Then we got WRs, didn't we? And like just for playing round here, and I got a WR, and we just used to play ride, didn't we? Like I did that for a few years. Got a CRF briefly. I think I tried to do one race again, but I just wasn't really into it. And then that was it. We'd do a bit of riding on walls and a bit of just playing round here. Going to a couple of tracks, but that was it, wasn't it? And because you got a bike at that time, weren't you? And we both was on WRs. My dad was as well.
Yeah, we had a good time there, going on with moors and stuff. But
still enjoyed it, with WRs. But again, I think then by that time I was like 22. We were getting into raving then. We started like going to
Sankeys and bowlers. Well, bowlers was
there for some. Then it was just
game over
then. So the bike went, and that was it for 8 years. And
then it worked. Believe it or not, it was actually me who got them all back into bikes. I've all through my life, I've only ever done. I did about 2 or 3 races on 65s. Didn't know when he went to ACU, and never did anything. And then I used to just ride for fun. And then anyway, I'd not had a bike for 10 years, and I said.
My dad had one though.
Yeah, my dad had a KTM, but my dad very rarely went out, and I said, I just fancy a rip. So I went down to Abram Motocross, Winstonley's MX, and then obviously I started thinking, I want to do some of this, and then obviously because I started riding, it got his feelers back out for it, and before long.
Yeah, well, you went out, didn't you, one now? Like my dad's, and I had a go on it, and then.
Yeah, they got me a bike for Christmas, that was it. So I got a 350 KTM.
We didn't really know. Well, that's the thing. We started riding, but none of us had ever even heard of extreme enduro. I didn't know what it was. I had no idea what it was. I'd heard of enduro, but I didn't even know what extreme enduro was. And then, like you say, you got that bike, and we started doing a bit. And then all the videos was out on YouTube, because when we stopped, YouTube wasn't really a big thing then. And then everything had come out, and I remember, I think you had some videos on it with mum and dad's of like Billy Bolton, Graham Jarvis, just like doing these slow wheelies, scraping the mudguard and going up like 5-foot walls, and I was just like hooked on it straight away. I thought, this is just insane. I want to be able to do that. And then like you said,
so that was 2020, wasn't it? That when we we
got them in about 2019, didn't we? I think the bikes.
And then
back end of 2019, I think, or something like that.
We did a year of practice then, didn't we? Going out all the fields trying to get as good as we could.
Yeah, but that was it. We did a bit of practice and we said, we'll do one of these races. But I think COVID hit then, didn't it? And there was no races through 2020. No lockdown, wasn't there?
Yeah.
And we had to wait until the ball breaker of end of 2020, December 2020, wasn't it?
That was our first race. So it's Will All, wasn't it? Didn't it?
Yeah.
Will All won that one. I remember we were like, you did well.
We'd been doing the riding, but we'd never you don't realise the adrenaline what goes through, how you're pushing how tired. We just had no idea.
You went out all guns blazing.
Oh yeah, I went out like it was on a motocross race, and literally an hour in I was just crying out that tired.
The mad thing was, I remember we entered experts, didn't we?
Because we wanted to try the harder sections, didn't we?
Yeah, and I think did you come was it 15th or 16th or something, and I got 18th. It was a few spots behind each other. Oh no, you got actually a bit better, didn't you?
I can't remember exactly where I got, but
we got it.
I mean, we didn't probably think it was great results, but saying we'd never done one and how hard it was, because it was an hard race, it was really boggy, wasn't it? And we actually did alright, but it was just basically it got to end. He was probably saying I was riding 24 and then just having to stop and go with my hands because my fingers just couldn't hold it.
I remember being stopped in that stream. We actually go up it now, the really hard section of ball breaker, and they were coming down and there was an hill at end for get out, and I would just stop there, just couldn't even do anything. I couldn't even hardly get out at the stream, and I remember just watching Will just come past and just go up, and I was just like, how are they doing this? But we got in van after, didn't we? And the first thing that came out of his mouth, he said, I am never doing one of these ever again. And we were both moody as out, because I don't know if people who do extreme might realise or not, but with us, we push and give that much, and it makes you moody then for the next few days, because you've give everything. And I remember my dad was saying, you two better not be doing any more of them fucking races. He says you're a bag he says you're absolute nightmare for me around So anyway, that was it then. We thought we wasn't going to do another, didn't we?
It took a few months, didn't it, for to start festering for another one. Really, I really thought I'll never do one of them again, because it was that hard and that cold. Your hands were just falling off. You were slipping off seat. It was just brutal, but it just festers away in your head, doesn't it? And then before you know it, you're hooked.
Yeah, that's it. And then like I said, now got up to obviously your best year yet so far, hasn't it? He's been had a mega championship, hasn't he? And got fourth in pro.
It takes a long time though to make any progress, doesn't it?
It was like I said, it's 4 year really, isn't it, from our first race till you get to where you've been. And but obviously you've rode bikes all your life as well. But people probably don't. Only the lads who ride and race, I feel know exactly how much at the top level of each class know how much goes into it, because you give it. We've given a lot, haven't we? You have to. We've more realised recently that we obviously like going out for a drink and stuff, don't we? And going raving and whatnot.
Well, I think we wasn't. The first 2 years of doing it, we were just going out as normal, really.
Yeah.
Just kind of still going out virtually, most weekends and doing whatever, and you can't really progress. You can't. You can progress in your riding, but I don't think your fitness is always going to be a bit crap in it, because you're not really riding enough, because you're rough half the time, and then so it's more like the last couple of years we've started to just try and not drink before races and stuff like that, where it definitely helps, doesn't it? But
yeah, that's it, because we did that one. We rented Edge of a week, didn't we? After we did Blackpool on the Sunday. I think it was it was either Saturday or Sunday all day on pop, and then we went to Edge week after, and we just had no chance. We were just gassed straight away, and that's when we made the decision that we either have to do one or other. So we're enjoying our off season a bit now, aren't we? We've been doing a few bits of stuff and that. But anyway, so we'll go down to some of your injuries that you've had.
Well, I've not had bad ones, have I? But a lot of niggly things.
Tell us about this was back at Motocross when you broke your wrist, didn't you?
Yeah. Well, I was about, I think I was 14, I'd just turned 15.
I was going to check this, she's still on, isn't it? Yeah, well, still on.
And there was, I remember at that time I was they started doing a few like arena cross events. I think there was like a couple of tracks in Sheffield, and then they'd have an arena cross event at Rochdale. Can't remember the area where it used to be, but
you were good at them though, weren't you?
Yeah, I was alright at them. Just did but again, I just got on a 125, I think, from an 80. Oh no, I think it was you could only race 125s then, I think. So I think I had a CRF or something, and I just got a 125 to do these indoor events, and we got to this Sheffield, and there was a race, but I think we just had a piston in my bike. So
you missed practice, didn't you?
Well, that was it. Yeah, the practice was the day before, so we got there, and a few people, there's a triple here and no one's done it, or somebody like only one person's managed to do it once or something. So obviously that was just like me brain that just said, oh well, I'm gonna do this. So I was supposed to be warming my bike up. I set straight off and did it first lap, but like kind
Your dad was fuming.
Yeah, but I kind of like it was like a double and then a triple, and then there was a tight corner after it, and I kind of overshot it a little bit. So I thought, well, I think I hit it in third. Bearing in mind that there's no one else on track and everyone's watching because I've come running my bike in and whatever, and I just come round next lap and I tried it in second, and it just over revved just as it hit the face, and I just went straight nosedived into the third hill and just snapped my wrist like a twig, like it would just. Like my hand was just like that, and I remember just getting up, and I knew my dad would be fuming, so I was like, just try and pick bike up straight away and ride off as off at sure that there's nothing wrong, but I looked down and my wrist was just like a banana. So
yeah, but most people don't realise you've got your average motocross dad who screams and shouts at the kids. Well, my dad was an absolute polar opposite.
He never wanted
he didn't want it raced, and he used to be saying, don't do that jump, and like, if you're not comfortable, slow down, and it used to just be...
It's all on my own.
Yeah.
I just couldn't, if we went somewhere and there was a jump, usually I'd have to do it, I couldn't leave it, and stuff like that. I just had this weird thing in my head. So, yeah.
We always believe, though, like, we see it, for one, I see it all the time, dads screaming at them, and I don't think that gets them anywhere. I think
you have to just want it yourself. You can't.
Constructive criticism is good. Telling them how they can go faster. But you see some of kids' dads and they're screaming and shouting, and I think, what on earth are you doing? You only put pressure on. The pressure's on yourself, isn't it? And at a young age, you want to just be enjoying riding, don't you? You know what I mean?
Usually, all the best lads. When I was younger, at least anyway, the dads would never be telling them to go faster or anything like that. You've either just got that in you to go faster and to want to win, or you've not, and that's it. I don't think there's much.
I always remember the first time you were saying, I always remember you saying when you watched Sean Dennison come round that corner at Leigh Motocross, and you said you seen him full pinned.
Well, that was very early when I just had an 18. You kind of just, you just not rolling over the jumps, but you've not got the bottle. You're just kind of going up to them and off the jumps. And I remember watching him at Leigh, and like you said, there was maybe like a few of them, Lee Penn and Sean Dennison, and they used to just come round and they just used to scream the bike in every gear and hold it flat out off the face, and I just used to love that sound and thought it would be. I just wanted to do it so much, but it takes a long time to build up. Like the bottle, they've done it to just stall your bike just flat out off the face. That's all I want to do. But then with like little memories where you just think, I just remember how good that used to be watching them do that.
Yeah, it's mega, isn't it? Well, yeah, so that was your first injury, and then what other injuries have you had? Like you said, you've been pretty lucky.
I have, yeah. Just like knocks and bangs and stuff.
Was it on your knee, and you brought your wrist at Parkwood again, didn't you?
Well, started again a couple of years into extreme. Then I tried it wasn't even a stupid rock thing, but
we do it on rest. No,
I think it was just at the time we both probably wasn't really capable. Well, we still do things what we're not capable of now, don't we? That's the main. We do things what above our skill level, really. But we just try them, don't we? Because that's what we do. But like, yeah, just trying things above your skill level, and just ended up breaking my wrist there. So that fairly knocked me, that, because I was doing alright up to there. We both was doing quite well. It was before that you did quite well in Clubman that season, didn't you? You was in top couple every time, but we was both doing alright, and then like I had to have obviously 6 weeks off with your hand in a cast, but it knocked my confidence a lot. I was frightened death of like, because it was like I went to top of a rock and like fell backwards and bike fell on me. I was like frightened death of doing anything where a bike could go back to them running for ages. It took me ages to get over that. Like,
you were at Parkwood with his cast on, full of black shit, trying to help me up the hills. So the next question we've got is, people will probably want to know about our fitness and what we do for sort of what you do to keep fit in between your racing.
Well, yeah, I do think, like you said, that obviously the bike time is the main thing. Do you know what, which gets you fit for extreme? I think that is the main thing, and you see quite a lot of lads who are fit and really good riders, and they probably don't do anything else, do they, apart from ride. But you know, we have generally always been fit, haven't we? We've always done exercise, even when we wasn't racing. Always just, you know, done a gym and you know, running, cycling, stuff like that. But I think obviously for extreme you want to be, you know, doing just all your bench press and all that isn't really going to help you, is it, for that? But I think any stuff with your core and any exercises what are using your full body, aren't you? Like you're doing, you know, deadlifts or squats, and you're like maybe doing pull-ups and stuff like that. Just anything like that's good for you, innit? We do a bit, we do a bit more of that than we used to mainly just do the usual gym stuff, but we do more of that these days, don't we?
Yeah.
And obviously some HIIT workouts as well, don't we?
Yeah, like try and get a bit of explosive workouts.
But I think as well, the main thing is you just have to go out and practice like your race, don't you? At least if you've got a race coming up, at least a few weeks before, you want to be just putting in hard riding and pushing so as you can. It helps when you've got someone else to do it with, doesn't it? So you can kind of put each other under pressure and stuff like that. That's a main one, you know.
We do though. We struggle quite a bit with like burnout. We get burned out very quick because obviously we both have an house. We've both got obviously our own lives, what leads with the missuses, and obviously we're working full time, and then you're trying to ride after your work and then maintain your bike, which obviously, as people know, we smash your bikes up to bits, so you're continually working on your bike, and then you try and get in your gym and obviously race week, don't you? We're prepping bikes, and if you're not careful, if you do too much, we feel like it detriments. It can detriment you. You can be absolutely gone, worn out for the race. So we just sort of try and balance, have a like a nice balance, and we do eat. We're both, well, I'm celiac, and you try and do gluten free as well, because but that makes things twice as hard as well, because you can't just get an ham sandwich from shop and have that. You know, we continually have it make stuff, so it's all like a big drain on what we do. But generally, I think since that we have a quite healthy diet, really, don't we? And then, we, like I said, ideally I'd say, but how many times do we get on bike each week? Would you say
I'd say like, usually we try and get on twice one week, then week after we might get on once, then sometimes you get on twice again, and we just kind of like that, innit? I don't think we get on twice every week, do we? I think just because of
a lot of people,
and it depends how big of a ride you've done, doesn't it? If you've done a massive ride on a Sunday, generally, you know, we're working everything else, you're pretty knackered, aren't you, till later in the week. You might get out for a quick blast, but
I think people think we do a lot, we're riding all the time, but what it is I just video that much. I've got like videos from months and months before, so I'm like, I sort of just drip feed onto my Instagram videos, and obviously sometimes we go to tracks and I've had it, lads going, you're always out, and we're not out as much as you think.
We're not really riders who ride all day either. We get into like, when we go out riding, we just
frantic.
We're just like very like, we just can't stop doing things. So you just trying hills, just doing things one after another instead of like pausing and taking rest. And we just tend, after 3 hours, we're just completely burnt out usually, aren't we? We can't really go much more than that. So sometimes we go with lads and they go on a long ride and we're just like, can't do this.
No, yeah.
It's hard to rein yourself in it, and
if you see something you want to do, you just like, right, let's do this.
I think as well, to get better, the main thing what you've got to do is identify the things that you're not good at, because I think a lot of people just, if they're good at bashing hills, they'll just keep going bashing hills and not do anything else, and when they get to some slippy little rocky off camber, they're just struggling. And I think you've got to identify the things that you're not good at, and as much as you don't want to do them, you've got to do them until you're good at it, and then you'll be like a better all-round rider then, won't you?
To be fair though, I think we do have Jack Price, but thank for that, because we went and like did a bit of work with him, and he said, well, he could see that we were decent at hills, and he said, you're good at hills. He said, there's nothing wrong with that. He said, but it's when you stop halfway up an hill, then get tip-tacking and start working up, and he give us some advice and stuff like that.
He was just saying, a good one is get yourself stuck somewhere, and then just, work out, get out of it kind of thing, and look where your back wheels, that's a big one, isn't it? Look where your back, a lot of people, they just panic revving and just the back wheels on like a rock what's just slippy, and you need just move your front end round, and but it takes time, he told us that probably 3 years ago, but it takes a long time to start being able to get that.
Jason's obviously better than me, and what happens is sometimes like when we're out, he'll give me advice on how to do something, and he sort of like he tells me how to do it, and I know how to do it, but I just can't quite implement it. But that's it. You just have to keep practicing, and that's what we do. Just the areas that I think I'm not so good at, and same with you. I mean, Jay's pretty good at all round really, but I sort of like
some things like we're never going to be. You see, these top trials riders how they stood up and doing certain things, and we're never going to be like that because we've never rolled trials bikes or done anything along that thing. So you can try and get better, but we have to kind of work to our strength, and some tracks which are just better for us, isn't it? Because they're not as like maybe like rocky and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We do tend to do better on the muddy tracks, don't we?
You like it as well when there's like I'm not so keen on it when there's something mega difficult, but yeah, you want it.
Yeah, I usually like some the tracks where I have a really difficult hill or something really difficult sections on, because it just seems be able, it separates people a bit more, doesn't it? And I think when the track's like fairly hard but fairly fast, I just not so good at that, because it's just, especially the trials riders, they can carry so much speed across the rough terrain, because they're used to doing, these Scott trials and all this, where you're carrying speed across like rich stream beds, and it's really hard to go that fast for us, isn't it?
Like I said, not only that, when the track has speed, there's a lot of people don't know that what you struggle with. You've tried everything as well. He gets bad motion sickness, so he struggles going on boats, he struggles doing anything. He can't go on a jet ski. He else is sick, and when the track is fast, he starts
do a lot of summer races really, just because the track's just too fast, and
you just end up being sick.
Yeah. It's just I need it slow. Me really doesn't at all. Where there's not too many ups and downs.
Yeah, even at Cone, this year's championship race at Cone, you were fine for the first few laps, and then you were just projectile vomiting all the way around, weren't you?
Yeah.
You look like a corpse when you come off. So, but that's not because of like the strenuous of it, because we're good with that fitness. It's just purely the motion of it, which I'm lucky because even though I do feel sick sometimes, I've never been sick. So. I've had pull off a few races.
Yeah,
pulled off
tough one little brother. I've had pull off there, because that's just a small quarry. You just up down, and it's like that just motion just knocks me sick. Like you say, even Parkwood, when it was dry once, I was heaving there, like a few of the places.
Takes your mind off your riding then as well, don't
when
it?
you can't, you just can't ride properly.